And new this morning, a young woman setting sail for America. A Cottage Grove woman was on the Titanic coming to meet her man in Oregon. Now her story is the centerpiece of a new exhibit, and we're taking you to see it. An amazing story you've got to see right here on News Source today.
Live in Western Oregon, you're watching KMTR News Source 16, and this is News Source Today.
A Cottage Grove woman's coats and a lap robe help tell the story of the Night of Nights 100 years ago. We'll talk with her son as we preview a special exhibit and presentation tonight.
Folks in Cottage Grove have the opportunity tonight to hear from a Eugene woman who helped to lead an effort to recover and preserve artifacts from the Titanic. It's part of an exhibit put on by the Cottage Grove Historical Museum. That exhibit centers around a Cottage Grove woman who was not only a passenger on the Titanic 100 years ago, but she lived to tell about it.
Yes, this was her gown.
When 93-year-old Bob Wolcott stands before this glass case, he thinks about his mother. This is the coat Marion Wright wore when she boarded the Titanic on its maiden voyage in 1912. At 27 years old, she was bound for America and a life with her true love, Arthur Wolcott.
They decided she would come to the United States and they would get married in New York. Then the Titanic came along.
This is the same coat Marion was wearing the night the Titanic hit an iceberg and she was ushered into a lifeboat.
I remember she said that the night that she had to get on the lifeboat, she said it was freezing cold.
It was dark, it was chaotic, and no one, not even Marion, really knew at the time what a dangerous situation they were in.
They did not have a clue. Each one of them, when they got into the lifeboat, felt that they would be coming back to the ship itself in an hour or two after the emergency was over, and they would continue on with the cruise, not knowing that the ship was actually going to go down.
In a matter of hours, the majestic Titanic broke in two and sank. Marion was one of only 700 survivors.
She did not talk about it that much.
Marion rarely spoke of her experience, but it is documented in letters she wrote to her father back in England. And soon after she was rescued, Marion Wright Wolcott was headed cross-country to a new life in Cottage Grove, Oregon. And packed in her belongings was that coat, the coat she wore on that fateful night. Take a closer look and you'll see there is a panel of material that's been cut away.
When I and my two brothers went into service, she decided we needed something to bring us back.
When Marion's three sons went off to serve in World War II, she used that material to make covers for the Bibles they would carry with them. And just as their mother had survived 30 years earlier, all three of her boys made it home safely from the war.
She was a very good mother. We were fortunate to have her.
In 1962, on the 50th anniversary of the sinking of Titanic, Marion Wright Wolcott told her story one more time to a newspaper reporter. She described that terrible night. It's a tragic beginning to a journey that would take Marion to the real prize, a new life in Oregon that would be rich and full of family and of love. Now, Marion and Arthur Wolcott were married for 53 years. Marion died in 1965, but all the family's photos and letters and Marion's coat have been donated to the Cottage Grove Historical Museum, so the story can live on.
It's right here with us. That's amazing to see.
And actually, it's estimated that there's probably about 10 descendants of Titanic survivors living in the Lane County area. We haven't heard all of their stories, so, you know, in the coming years, maybe we will.
Yeah, if they're seeing this report this morning, maybe they'll reach out, contact News Source 16.
Well, you can hear more tonight about Marion Wolcott's story and the latest efforts to preserve artifacts from the Titanic. Dr. Lauren Alsop from the University of Oregon will give a public talk tonight at the Cottage Grove Community Center, where the Titanic exhibit is being held. Dr. Alsop has been part of the effort to recover and preserve pieces of the Titanic from the ocean floor. That event begins at 7 o'clock tonight. Admission is $5, but space is limited.